Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I found this nasty old hunk of firewood in the pile. I'm going to try to turn it into a beautiful spalted maple bowl. Well, maybe. It's spinning. Okay, here we go, opening cuts. Got so excited I forgot my face shield. Hold on. That's going better than I expected. My point here is I want to get a good big flat spot on the bottom and round up these corners so we can get a tenon in here and make the flip. As you can see, I got some big whopping cracks in here, so we might have to do some creative gluing and see where we're at. But so far it seems like the wood has some good integrity, so I'll continue on. If you can imagine trying to catch a baseball with a strobe light going on, that's what it's like cutting with this hit and miss stuff, because the lights are flashing through on and off, on and off. It's like trying to work with a strobe light. Whew, that's exciting. This is some really dried out wood, and the grain seems to be breaking a lot, especially on the end grain. This may take a lot of sanding to get all the little pits closed up. I'll turn you back on when I make some more progress and get it rounded up around the, or when I make more progress and get the edges, the ends rounded up. Thanks. Whoops. Long way to go. Whew, it's beating me up. I might have to see if I can turn up the RPMs a little bit to smooth it out. So far so good. I'm going to have a lot of pitting to fill. I see some nice spalting in there. And when I can start going with the grain, I'll get a much better cut. But this is just roughing. So let me turn you off for a while and I'll get this thing hacked out and then turn you back on. Alright, I got the speed up to close to 700 RPMs. Made sure everything was tight so nothing comes flying off, and I'm standing at arm's length. Much smoother cut though. A whole lot smoother. But as you can see, still got a long way to go. Let me get her round. Oh yeah, a lot better. A lot less tear out. At least less deep. Back on in a minute. Alright. We got her down to a basic shape. I do have a bottom established and I got part of my tenon done. I just need to square it up. Put the little bevel on it. I think what I'm going to do with this piece is go all Phil Anderson on your butt and actually leave some of the natural log shape in here and let it be a nice Mother Nature-y bowl. I'm going to have to do a lot of stabilizing on this because the fibers are just breaking off instead of cutting. I have to keep my gouge very sharp in order to get any kind of a decent cut at all. I'm probably gonna coat this thing. I'll get it closer to where I want and coat the whole thing in CA glue just to lock the fibers back together. Look, I'll show you how porous it is and how they're breaking off. See, these are decent fibers, a little patch of hardwood in there, and these are the nasties. And it's very hard, focus, very hard to get that smooth. So what I'm going to do is squirt CA glue, super glue, all over that and let it soak in. And it will firm up them fibers. Look at the beauty in this thing. Too nice to not work a little bit on it to get it better. Anyhow, I am going to soak this thing in CA glue. Probably 20-30 bucks worth. Won't be the first time, won't be the last. And see if we can bring this thing to life. So I'm going to soak her down and let it set for a couple hours till all the smoke clears. And I actually think it will turn out good if I leave part of the log on there, nice rounded ends, part of the log, and then I'll start hollowing way up here. We'll have little wings on it. And this I'm not going to cut out. I'm going to leave like a 1/4 inch thick. So Mother Nature will remain. And that is totally Phil Anderson style. So thanks Phil for all the great videos, and I hope you're feeling good or better, or at least not feel like you're stepping over the threshold. Alright, I'm going to glue this up, stabilize a little bit, and then we'll take like another 1/8 to 1/4 inch off and see if we can get decent cuts, and then I'll turn you back on. Oh, much better. Happiness is the new fresh edge. Still tearing out though, but not quite as bad as it was. Okay, it is the next day. We are in the middle of the second day of a good rainstorm, which we really needed. Thank goodness. Hashtag fill up my well. We got this thing all CA glued, and I got most of the cracks, significant cracks and bug holes that I found full. With this spalted maple, basically it's rotten wood with fungus in it. You get to a certain point where you just cannot get a good finish with a gouge or a scraper or anything. So you have to resort to sandpaper. So I got some 80 grit. It's a belt sander belt. It's really tough, and I can put a lot of down pressure on it. And basically for the final shape, I'm just going to sand it to shape. I pretty much got it. I got a decent finish on it. I'm just going to sand up all the CA glued and sawdust spots and smooth it on out. So let's get ripping. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing for the next half hour, and then I'll start working up through the grits. I'll turn you back on. Okay, we're back. I went through all the grits. I got it up to 240. I'm going to call it good with this softwood. If you keep going finer and finer, you end up, the surface gets all ripply. Let's see what we ended up with. Ooh, pretty nice. Got a lot of stuff in there. And it is spalted, yay. To me, spalting looks like an artist went over it with pen and ink. This is going to soak up a lot of finish, I can tell. It's like a big dry wood sponge. What do you think? Pretty nice. Pretty nice. I really don't like doing all the fill with the CA glue and sawdust because you can see it, like right here. But I think that's better than having the big divot or hole or dent or whatever that you're filling. So Just have to pick your poison and kind of go with it. I rather a smooth finish to the touch. And it's not like I'm trying to hide them because they stick out. There's no way of getting around it. It's just to make a decent finish. Which it's turning out to be. I could literally dump this finish on here and it would soak it up. So I might have to build it up in layers. But I've always loved spalted wood. And I'm willing to deal with the pain in the butt that it is. I still have to lightly sand the bark, so I'm not even going to put finish on that yet. Might have to go buy a new core to finish. It's soaking it up so much. Let me get my board under it. I'm just going to slop it on and let it soak a minute and then wipe it back off. I don't know how thick the walls are going to end up. Maybe I might have to leave them at a ½ inch because I don't want to dig way down here. I want to keep it as tall as possible. That's okay. It's looking pretty nice though. I don't know about other people, but I see a lot of people doing a friction polish with a paper towel, and I don't understand how. Every time I use a paper towel, it starts to shred and fall apart. There ain't no way I could do, or there isn't any way I could do a friction polish because I just get big beads of paper all over that. Somebody want to clue me in? And it's not that I buy super cheap paper towel. It's a decent paper towel. I'm not comprehending. Alright, I'm going to let this set up. I think I'll just put one coat on this for now because of all the sanding and patching and all that stuff. See, there's my paper towel shredding on there right now. I'll have to sand that off after it dries. She looks pretty beauty, eh? Gotta love it. Got to love it. I don't care what you say. Yup. Alright, we'll turn you back on when I get her flipped around and start whacking at the inside. See you in a few. Alright, I got her flipped around. I got it at about 700 RPMs. I'm going to plunge in and establish my outside wall thickness. And we'll see where it goes from here. Using my little pointy carbide tool. I love this thing. actually some pretty good solid wood in the center. I'm impressed, or surprised I should say. Getting some decent curls out of there. But we'll see when I get to the outside. Yeah, decent, very decent wood in there. Cool. I'll go as far as I can with the center support, and then I'll just have to back it out and go for it. Turn you back on in a few. Okay, look closely. What's missing in this picture? Y'all missed it. I had it in slow motion and everything. The tendon broke clean off, boop, just as clean as a whistle, and this thing went spun off the lathe and made a hard left, I mean a hard right towards the door, all the way across the shop floor at about 700 RPMs. Luckily I was standing clear. That's why you never know. So what I did is, since it broke so clean, I drilled a hole in there to keep my center, and I'm stretching it out. I'm going to put a new tenon on there at 3.5 inches. I got bigger jaws set up, and on the inside that was chipped too, so I drilled my hole to keep my center, and that's where my spur drive will go. So back to the drawing board. Sorry you missed it, but I'll make a new tenon and then turn you back on. Okay, I was just looking her over for damage, and I got pretty darn lucky. There's no big mars on the outside, no big old dents, except for right there. But I'll just hand sand that and get the burr off, and I'll just have to live with it because I'm not returning the outside. It's just too much starting over, plus it's slightly off center, and it's going to make it all oval. And as far as the rim goes, I got that piece popped off, and that little piece, oh, that's not popped off, and this piece popped out. So I'm going to have to re-establish the rim, and the only downside to that is I'm getting rid of the natural color, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So I got the new tenon cut. I got everything in there CA glued, including the outside rim. I'm going to let it set up good and tight, get as much strength as I can, and put it back in the jaws and carry on with the project. Turn you back on in a few. But before I go, this thing is, there's no shine on it now. It absorbed all that finish, so it's going to take multi-coats, but man, this thing looks nice. Just saying. Love the spalting. Like I say, it looks like somebody got in there with a pen and ink and just outlined the grain, because it kind of follows the grain line. Gorgeous. Turn you back on in a few. Save the world. South Pole. Okay, well, I recovered, and it's not too awful. It'll be a natural rim here, and then I think I'm gonna the wood is failing and chipping, so I'm just gonna hit this with the sander and sand it down to where I want it. So I'm gonna continue hollowing out, and we'll see what we end up with. Alright, I'm going to turn you off for a minute. I'm going to jack up the speed and see if that tendon will hold. It will, I hope. So anyhow, in the middle of that cut, before I so rudely interrupted by a full SD card, it's time to start checking as I'm cutting. I got about 1.5 to 2 inches to the bottom, so we're still good to go. I'll continue cutting away, turn you back on when I get it a little closer. Sorry about that, a little skip zone. How do I check the depth of my bowl, by the way? This case here, this bowl, I don't have a big enough set of calipers to get all the way around. So I just put a straight edge across the edge of the bowl, measure down to the center, to the inside of that straight arm, or straight piece, and I got about 5 inches. Then I come out here and put 5 inches on that line, and as you can see by the end of my tape, I got about 1 inch left. So we're still good. About another inch almost. I won't push it to the limit, but I like to get it close. I try to keep the thickness even all the way through. That way, if it dries out a little bit, it won't warp as bad. So we'll see what happens. Let me get down to the bottom of it. Okay, the inside actually cut a little better than the outside, but I have noticed, here's the worst one, those cracks on the outside, they come all the way into the inside. So I have them all sealed up on the outside. Here it is right here. Didn't turn out too bad. So I'm going to have to stop what I'm doing and seal these up from the inside just to make sure this thing don't explode, because this is the center of the log. I'm cutting this log sideways, so I got a big X here is the center, and then straight across this one, can't see it as good, but it's cracked. It's not too bad. Yeah, one little open crack down in here. But so far, looking pretty good on the inside. Oh, and here's another crack that I'm going to have to fill. That's on the outside only, right here. So that needs to get filled. Just so with the RPM, so it doesn't spin apart and end up as trash, basically. So let me do some filling, and then I'll turn you back on when I get it a little smoother. Hang tight. Alrighty then, on, off, check, check, on, off, check, check. I got about as good as I can get with my cutting tools. Did a little scraping. It's a little punky in there, but the CA glue did a pretty decent job. So it's time for sanding. This is going to be long and tough. Looks pretty decent. The walls are about 3/8 of an inch, and this here, like I said, I'm going to have to sand it back to get all those chips and stuff out. So I won't make you suffer through the sanding process. I'll turn you back on when we're ready to stick a coat of finish on there. Could take me till tomorrow. It's hard telling. See you in a few. Alright, all blown off. Here we go. She's beautiful, eh? Love this spalted silver maple. Although it's difficult to work with, your end product is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Okay, I'm just going to straighten up this where the tenon broke off a little bit. I'm already below and it will sit fine. I'm just going to take off a little bit, clean it up. It's got a little 3/8 full bag. Pointing, sometimes you can't get in to where you need to get in, or it's at the slightly wrong angle. Okay, sorry about that last segment. I ran out of card room and my camera shut off, but it was pretty much close to the end. All you missed was sanding up the bottom and signing it, and it wasn't too bad. Came out pretty nice. The finish is great for such spongy wood. Love that bullseye. And if you would be so kind as to hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. And all it takes is one of you to share the video to Facebook or something. On average I get 70 or 80 views on my lathe videos. I had one lady, out of the kindness of her heart, one of my neighbors, shared it to her social media Facebook, and went from 70 or 80 views up to 400 and something views, which does a lot for my enthusiasm and makes me want to make more videos. Inside turned out okay. It's not great, but I hope you like it. Spalted silver maple. Play nice.